Hey everybody, Tyler with Whole PM here, and today we're just talking about some big news you've probably heard in the housing segment, which is the federal government taking aim at these large institutional buyers of single-family homes, basically Wall Street landlords. And the goal here is to leave more homes for families to buy. So what happened is the White House issued an executive order that was framed around limiting these large institutional investors who are competing with retail home buyers. Well, they also compete with you as a rental property owner, a mom and pop landlord. So, you see in the media coverage that, it's directing agencies and regulators to prioritize individual buyers and to scrutinize these institutional purchases, and with a push for Congress to formalize that. So nothing formal now, but definitely things are in the works. So why it's showing up now is really because of housing affordability. So we got these large corporations. Think companies like American Homes for Rent, Poplar Homes. These institutions own tens of thousands of single-family homes that they purchase in order to rent. So it removes those properties from the general housing market, and it increases the supply of rental properties in really most major markets. So the policy debate is kind of reacting to the rise of these single-family home rentals, the build-to-rent communities, particularly in certain like Sun Belt markets, but really throughout most major markets in the U.S. So, these large institutional investors, technically, they control a relatively small share of the total number of single family homes, but it can be meaningful in specific metros. We certainly feel it here in the Denver metro area. So even if that total national percentage is small, the local concentration in these big cities really changes the market, and it changes the ROI of a regular rental property owner like you or I. So, why this is good for rental property owners is because um, if the number of rental properties in your given market is decreased, which is what would happen if these institutional investors were prohibited from purchasing more. There may even come some legislation where they have to or are incentivized to divest some of that inventory. Well, what happens is these properties that are owned by these institutions aren't going to be purchased generally by other investors. They're going to be purchased by owner occupants. So people who actually want to live in these properties as their primary residence. And that's good for you as a private landlord because of how supply and demand works. So if we have an environment where less of the single family home stock is being scooped up by these institutions to rent, then there will be less rental properties on the market because those properties will then be purchased and occupied by owner occupants. So we'll obviously would see uh, economics tells us we would see a decrease in home prices because of the inventory increasing, but we'd also see a decrease in the total amount of rental supply. Therefore, your rent as a rental property owner will go up just again because of the nature of supply and demand. So if you have any questions on this or any other thing related to the rental market here in Colorado, just give us a call at 720-737-1373. Have a great one.